So here we are at the tail end of January. How's it coming along? Y'all still on that train? Did you ever even hop on to begin with? Remember, manifestation is just a fancy word for result. Okay? That's all it means. It's the result of your frequency. I think most people, there's a couple of reasons why most people don't stay on the train of change. Okay? I can't really figure out which one comes first, but the two main things that I see are, number one, the discomfort that comes along with changing your frequency. Okay? You operate just like a radio antenna. You are only able to process a teeny little amount of the information going on around you. Okay? That information that you are processing and picking up was programmed to process and pick up that information. Okay? Secondly, I would have to say it's the process. Those people who do go ahead and make the decision, I'm going to change my life, they cling to things, okay? See, as you begin to rearrange this antenna, all of a sudden, when you change frequencies, things that are not a frequency match to the frequency you're moving to will begin to be pulled away from you, okay? They will begin to be pulled away from you. And it can be a scary process. This is where trusting the universe really, really comes into play. See, it's real easy to say, I trust the universe when things are going good. But when you're in a situation where things may not be going so good, or so you think, or you don't know, you can't predict what's about to happen, you've lost that sense of foresight that you thought you had, you really didn't. That's that part of you that desires that sense of foresight is the ego wanting to control the situation. Okay? The problem with the ego is nothing but a record of past memories. That's all the ego is. It's all the ego is. That doesn't make it a bad thing. Okay? That word ego kind of has negative connotations attached to it. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Okay, we just need to know what the ego can do and what the ego can't do. The ego, analytical, logical, thinking, planning brain is nothing but a record of past experiences. Okay? It doesn't know how to create something that is unlike anything it's ever experienced before. Okay? The only thing it can do is take all of the past memories that it has stored and accumulated and try to come up with a guess based on what it has experienced in the past on how to create something that it's never experienced before, but it doesn't work that way. All it ends up doing is recreating something that vibrationally complements everything that it's experienced in the past. Okay? So, as you begin the process of changing frequencies, this ego analytical thinking brain is not going to be able to make sense of what's happening. It's not going to be able to logically figure out what's happening, why it's happening, how it's supposed to happen. So the ego gets scared. The ego gets scared. This is where you have to trust the universe. You have to be able to throw your hands in the air and say, okay, universe, I have no idea why the hell this is happening, but I trust that one of these days I'll be able to look back on this past memory and understand why it had to happen this way. See, as you begin to allow yourself to become comfortable living like this, as you begin to allow yourself to trust the universe, there's not really anything that can happen that will slow you down or stop your progress. Okay? What slows us down and ultimately ends up leading to failure is when we give up. When we give up. There is actually no such thing as failure. Okay? There really isn't. The people who fail usually are actually doing one of two or three things. Okay. First of all, most people never even try. But the people who try and then give up are the people who usually end up saying, I failed. Okay? But it goes a little bit deeper than that. It goes a little bit deeper than that. If you try and it doesn't work, and you try that same thing again and it still doesn't work, and you try that same thing again and that still doesn't work, that doesn't mean that you give up on the goal. That means you change the plan. You change the plan. I tried that. That didn't work. Let me try something else. Let me go at it at a different angle. Let me try it a different way. I promise you, that door will eventually open. That breakthrough will eventually end up happening. And it's going to be in a way that this ego analytical thinking brain never would have been able to figure out by itself. Okay? So, how y'all making it on the manifestation train? Are you still on that train? Is it getting scary? It gets scary. It gets scary. See, one of the things that I do is I want to shine light on the things that nobody else talks about. Okay? On my path, I got kind of discouraged and a little bit confused. You know? A little bit discouraged and confused because as I first stepped off onto a manifestation path, it was rough. And nobody else was talking about that. My manifestations would end up seeing themselves through, but in a way that was really, really scary and really freaky. And very few people were actually, it's not that nobody talked about it. Some people would kind of mention it. But I think most people who are out there teaching things to the masses, they are very, very worried about how you perceive them. And I'm not. I'm not worried about how you perceive me. I'm not worried about what your opinion of me is. I'm not worried about what you think about me. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth. Okay? So, that's a big part of the path. It's scary, dude. It's scary. You will be faced with very difficult decisions. Okay? The reason being is because as you are changing frequencies, you are moving into a realm, onto a timeline that is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. So all those things that were a frequency match to the old version of you have to be pulled away from you. They have to be. They have to be. Okay? You will experience separations from some of your closest friends. You will experience separations from places. You might have to get up and move. You might end up having to change jobs. This is part of the path. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to go out and cut off your friends and family. You may choose to, you may not, but I promise you, things along the lines of that are going to happen. Period. That's not my opinion. That is an immutable universal law. It's an immutable universal law. And people will come and go. They'll come and go. I was just having this conversation with Leah yesterday. Okay? Most people don't do this. Most people stay on the same frequency, spinning around in circles their whole life. Because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. So as you begin moving up through the different frequency bandwidths, people will come. And as you move up out of that bandwidth, they will go. And then more people will come on the next frequency. And as you keep moving up through, they will go. Eventually, you will attract a person into your life that will make that journey with you. But it's not uncommon at all for the journey to be very lonely. Not uncommon at all. It's not uncommon at all to not be able to keep a friend in your life for very long. It's not uncommon at all to not be able to hold on to a romantic relationship for very long. That's part of the journey. Now, as we begin moving further along into this state of evolution that we're moving into, it won't be that way. Because as more and more people start to grasp how this works, and we have more and more people actually willing to put forth the work, then it won't be that way. Because this will eventually be mainstream common knowledge. But right now, while we still have a very, very tiny fraction of the people who are waking up to the true nature of reality and how this dimension and how this world really functions, that's what we got to deal with for a little bit. But if you can actually put enough trust and enough faith in the universe to make it to the top of your first mountain, you won't be let down. You won't be let down. I think I've used this analogy before. It's like you're at the foot of this mountain, okay? You're at the foot of this mountain, and you hear little tales and little rumors about this amazing reality that's on the other side of this mountain. But you don't know anybody that's actually climbed it. You hear rumors that if you take it upon yourself to climb that mountain, that it's the most amazing experience that there's this life, this world on the other side of this mountain. So you're sitting there contemplating, should I leave all this behind down here at the bottom of the mountain and take a chance on climbing this mountain? So you start climbing. And you don't know. Man, everything is getting pulled away from me. I could be totally wasting my time. What if I get up there and there's nothing there? You know? So you keep climbing. You keep climbing. And then what I like to call getting over your first hump. When you start seeing results in your life for the first time, when you take a look around and you start seeing the world from this different perspective, things start changing. Your reality starts changing. Your life experiences start changing. That's when it becomes addictive. That's when it becomes addictive. But the first bit of the path is very uncomfortable, very scary, and very nerve-wracking. Okay? So I just wanted to check up on y'all and see how you're doing. Just wanted to check up on y'all. I bet you there's some of you who are still on the train. There's some of you who never even hopped on, because you're like those people at the bottom of the mountain who just listen to everybody else around you. Oh, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time climbing that mountain. There's nothing over there. That's just a bunch of bullshit. You know, I know there's some of you. And I know there's some of you as well who started climbing the mountain and then freaked out. It was too uncomfortable. And you went back down to the bottom where it's comfortable. But for those few of you who are still going through the discomfort, okay, still living through the, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to experience. I don't know. Be willing to make the rest of 2022 uncomfortable. And I promise you, January 2023, you're going to take a look at yourself. You're going to take a look at your life. And it's going to be totally different. It's going to be totally different. It could even be beyond anything that you could paint up in your imagination. Just wanted to throw that little reminder out there for y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Y'all have a good day.